Hey guys, I'm Wilson.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are on the Mewve.
Today we are here to help you have a successful trip to Glacier National Park.
Yeah, if you're planning a trip to this stunning national park, then you're in the right place.
In this video, we're going to share with you some tips and tricks to make your visit to Glacier National Park even better.
So let's get started. All right, tip number one is to plan your visit in advance. Glacier National Park is a huge park with a lot of different areas to explore. Before you go, it's important to kind of plan out what you want to see. So you want to look up the different trails, lakes, attractions you want to visit, and you really want to make a rough itinerary for this trip way ahead of time. This will help you make the most of your time in the park and ensure that you don't miss anything important.
Part of this phase is also going to require you to check the website for road closures. Glacier National Park is a little tricky, I think.
Yeah, it can be.
In the planning phase, you need to be aware of the conditions of the Go Into the Sun road. The website is the best place to go to get the up-to-date information regarding any road closures.
We visited Glacier National Park the week of July 4th in 2022. And unfortunately, we didn't plan far enough out, and sometimes you just don't have that advantage. We were unable to see the whole Going to the Sun road. They had a late snow. I think it was like the third week of June. It dumped almost 2 feet of snow. They had the road almost cleared, and then they had to kind of start again. And so we missed that part on that trip, which is really sad, but it gives us a good reason to go back.
Yes.
There's always an opening date that's somewhere around the middle of June. Sometimes it can be July 4th, right around in there, but that's getting real late. We tried to plan it for the week of July 4th so we wouldn't miss it.
Thought we were okay.
Yeah, but we missed it anyway.
Also, in part of this planning process, you're going to need to look at the campgrounds. If you're interested in camping there, they have some first come, first serve campgrounds, and they fill up really quickly. So you have to do a lot of planning in advance for those. There are places that you can reserve outside of the park, so that also takes a lot of planning. So make sure you start really early.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the place that we stayed outside of the park. And if you're a big rig, you're probably not going to be able to get into the park anyway.
Yeah.
Apgar may be your best bet for campgrounds if you're a smaller rig.
Tip number 2 is that you have to pack appropriately. Glacier National Park is known for its very unpredictable weather sometimes.
It's almost moody.
Yeah, it could be cold 1 minute and then about an hour later it could be warm and sunny. So you have to pack lots of different types of clothes and take them with you into the park so that you're prepared for any kind of weather.
Make sure to pack layers, waterproof clothing.
A raincoat, a lightweight raincoat is really good.
Yeah, we bought some this summer for this summer's trip, and they were great. Sturdy hiking shoes are a necessity. Don't forget to bring your sunscreen, insect repellent, plenty of water with you, and bear spray, okay? You can rent bear spray if you want to. You can buy it. We decided to buy it because we travel in an RV, and so we can just keep it with us when we're out west, Yellowstone, Glacier, anywhere there. But know how to use this. You know, practice with the clip. Make sure you're aware how to use the bear spray. All right, tip number 3 is to get an early start. I know that's really, really bad news to hear for some of you. I'm not an early riser at all. But for these kind of parks, we will do almost anything. We'll get up super early so that we can avoid crowds or get parking places. Glacier is one of the most crowded national parks because of the limited roadway system. This means it can get really, really crowded pretty much during the entire summer, and the parking lots will be full by 7 a.m. sometimes. To avoid the crowds, to make the most of your day, get that early start. Get into the park before 6 o'clock. Sometimes even earlier than that if you know you're going to take one of the most crowded trails. Aim to arrive at the park before sunrise and hit the trails before everyone else does.
One other benefit of going early is you've probably heard about the vehicle reservation pass system that they have started. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But if you enter the park before 6 o'clock and after 3 o'clock, you do not need a reservation pass. So that is definitely one of the benefits. Tip number 4, don't make the mistake of not getting a vehicle reservation pass. This has become something that the national parks are starting to do, especially the ones that are really crowded. Instead, plan to get a reservation for the day or days. One pass will get you in for 3 days. So you have to kind of plan when do you need the pass and when you're going. Head on over to the park's website for more information. But remember, if you're entering the park before 6 a.m., if you're an early riser, you don't usually need a pass. So that is a plus. This is different from your National Park Pass. The America the Beautiful Pass is not the same thing as your vehicle reservation pass. If you're traveling to Mini Glacier, that's on the east side, the Going to the Sun Road, or to Medicine, that's also on the east side, you will need a pass beginning July 1st until September 10th. I believe this is new this year. If you are traveling on the west side, entering from the West Glacier side, or North Fork, which is at the top, which we did, that was fun, you will need a pass beginning May 26th. That's the really popular side to go in as well.
So your passes for the Going to the Sun Road corridor are good for 3 days, while other areas are only valid for 1 day. Make sure you pay attention to that. Log into your recreation.gov account to find your pass, to buy that. And make sure you have a screenshot or you print that pass out so you'll have it. Don't depend on Wi-Fi or cell connection while you're there, because sometimes you may get left out of the park. And the Park Service, they're just not forgiving on that. They can't be. It's not their fault. It's just the system that they have. So new for the 2023 year, vehicle reservations will be available through 2 types of booking windows. So a portion of the reservations will be available approximately 120 days in advance. And so if you're watching this video, it's probably too late for that. They're using a block release system for that. And the first block of advanced reservations have already been released for 2023, so it's too late. On May 1st, 2023, reservations will be available for all areas for September 1st through September 10th. So that could help you out depending on when you're planning on going. Yeah. The remaining vehicle reservations will be released on a rolling basis. So if you haven't gotten your passes yet, it's not too late, but you're going to have to do a little extra work. You know, we had to do that last year and it ended up working out for us. So they're released on a rolling basis at 8 a.m. every morning, 24 hours in advance. So the day before at 8 a.m., they're going to be released.
Mountain time.
Yeah, that is mountain time. That's a good point.
You got to check your time zones, because a lot of times we get caught up in that trying to get the right moment, but we'll be behind. So watch your time zones. That's 8 a.m. Mountain time.
So, for example, if you want to go into the park on July 1st, that reservation is going to be available at 8 a.m. Mountain time on June the 30th. So you'll want to get up, check, be ready for that. So if you haven't gotten your passes, you still can get passes.
All right, so when do you not need a car pass? So if you're staying inside the park, so lodging inside the park, you're good to go in the park without a pass.
Yeah, that lodging reservation is your pass.
Yep. So camping, staying at the hotel, the big lodge, whatever, that works for you. If you're going on any of the commercial tours that are available in the park, so let's say you have a reservation July 1st for one of the boat tours, that pass, that reservation is your pass to get in. So that works out for you. So valid service reservations include lodging, camping, commercial tours that are in the areas located inside the West entrance, the Camas entrance, and the St. Mary entrance.
All right, tip number 5 is to take a hike. Get out of the car, you know, if you can. And there are a few handicap accessible strolls that you can take in the park, and I think the park's done a good job at trying to accommodate everybody with their needs here. So it is really a hiker's paradise. It's just an awesome place with awesome views and a trail for everybody, from really, really difficult stuff to, you know, really easy strolls. So they've got over 700 miles of trails. There's a hike for everybody, even up to multi-day treks if you want to. Get a backcountry pass And, you know, go out on one of those adventures if you want to be daring like that. We're not those people, okay? We like the longer day hikes, but that's okay. Some of the most popular hikes are going to include places like the Avalanche Lake Trail, the Trail of the Cedars, which is handicap accessible,
Yes.
Grinnell Lake Trail, Virginia Falls, very, very busy. The Highline Trail, which is really a highlight, and we didn't get to do that last summer because of the road closure. And then the Grinnell Glacier Trail is another good one. Make sure you bring a map with you, readily accessible around the park. You know, stay on your marked trails. Almost all the trails are marked very well.
Especially the really popular ones.
Yeah, and you're going to see people. You're not going to venture off very much. And bring your patience. You know, the crowds have really increased in our national parks, and Glacier is one of those that we saw. We had not visited since 2007, and we really couldn't believe the amount of people that were there this past summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, just be patient. Pick a different trail if it's too crowded or the parking lot's already full. You know, have a backup plan.
Yeah. Choose a few lesser known trails. We like to use the All Trails app. I go exploring on it a good bit. You can get some feedback, some reviews if you're looking for things that are less crowded. So that's a way to kind of get around some of the more popular ones. Now, I know you probably want to do some of the popular ones because they are pretty great. And we did a lot of those, but we were not able to do the Highline Trail or the Virginia Falls Trail. The Virginia Falls was later in the day, and it was just too packed. So we just had to kind of move on, and we went on down to Two Medicine. So you just kind of had to be flexible. If it's too crowded, if it can't find a parking place, have a backup plan with that. Also, be prepared. We talked about bear spray. Again, you're in the heart of bear country, so if you're going hiking, be prepared with your water, snacks, and bear spray, sunscreen, and a rain jacket. Because it could rain at any time in Glacier.
Yeah, we don't mean to scare you with bears. You know, we don't want anybody to be scared. But at the same time, you do need to be prepared. You know, there are some really bad stories out in Glacier, and it's not, you know, the friendly bears that we go up and pet. You know, these bears can hurt you. And so sometimes you don't see the bears, and sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes that can be bad. We had a bear in between us and another hiker. We were totally unaware. The people in front of us said, "Did you see the bear?" I believe it was on the Grinnell Grinnell Lake Trail.
Yep.
And there was a bear there that we were never aware of. The hikers in front of us saw it. They weren't very far in front of us.
They showed us a video, so we saw it with them. But
and we never saw or heard the bear. And of course, the bear didn't care about us, you know, obviously. But you just don't want to run into a bear unexpectedly, especially with cubs.
The other thing that you can do if, you know, you got your bear spray, or if you don't have it, make sure you're loud. You know, just talking on the trail. You don't want to walk up and spook a bear. That's usually when things don't go as well.
Yeah, there were 8 of us.
Yeah, we were quite noisy, I'm sure.
Very noisy.
So making noise and just not surprising the bear is probably, you know, one of the best preventative situations. Okay, tip number 6 is if hiking is not your thing, take a scenic drive, which Glacier National Park is pretty famous for.
Wow.
It's going to the Sun Road. So if you can't get out and hike, you're going to see some pretty iconic scenes. There's pull-offs. There's places to look with stunning views of the glaciers, the mountains, waterfalls that you can see right there from the road. But be aware that this is a very narrow road. It has some very steep drop-offs, and parking is very limited. So you're going to drive slow anyway. Everybody's going to be driving slow. So just take your time and enjoy the view.
Some of the other scenic drives that are included are not just that main going to the Sun Road, but Mini Glacier Road, Two Medicine Road. We like those drives that other people just maybe don't take. You know, we found Pole Bridge this past summer, and we've only visited one time, but Pole Bridge was kind of out of the way. It was really on that far western side up near Canada.
You're really out west.
Yeah, you're really
really
out there.
out and really away from everything. It was really neat.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of people out there. I know it can get busy, and when you stop at the little mercantile store there in Pole Bridge, you know, it's really worth a stop because their food is awesome. They have a lot of snacks. There's cinnamon rolls. Yeah, nice little
bear
Cersei's.
claws.
Yeah, bear claws. We didn't get to do those because they didn't have any.
I heard they were really good.
Yeah, but stop by there. You know, go to Bowman Lake in that area. It's kind of a quiet picnic area. I know it can get crowded because I've read that, but when we were there, I think there was one other car.
Yeah.
So it was just an awesome place to go. And again, more hikes are in that area as well. And if you want to get away from the crowds, just go to those lesser known areas. All right, tip number 7, and probably one, I guess this might be my favorite because I really enjoy the wildlife. Check out the wildlife. There's a lot to see in Glacier besides the scenery. So Glacier's home to a number of wildlife species. It has grizzly bears, it has black bears, it has moose, elk, mountain goats. Make sure you keep a safe distance from the wildlife. Never approach wildlife. You don't know how they're going to react. You don't want to end up being part of somebody's viral video that just goes crazy with your scenes. We've all seen those from Yellowstone with the bison flipping people upside down and just crazy stuff. Just, be careful.
Safe distance.
Yeah, safe distance. When you're hiking, keep a close lookout though. You might see mountain goats. You might see a moose, feeding off in the distance. And if you catch them just right, then you're going to have a really good view, maybe a good shot of a moose that you would otherwise never be able to take a photo of.
On one of the trails that we went on, me and the kids were kind of behind everybody else for lots of reasons. But anyway.
We won't go into that.
Right beside the trail, there was a female moose laying and bedding up right beside, probably 20 feet off the trail. She wasn't worried about us, but we got a nice view just walking beside her. So be aware because they could be right off the trail, nicely camouflaged, and you don't even know it.
Bring a pair of binoculars on the trail too. We stopped and we glassed the side of the mountain, and we did find that really big moose, that bull moose on the other side of the lake. It
was really far.
It really was, but you could see it with the binoculars. It was real hard to see otherwise. So just keep an eye out, and as you're driving through the park, or even south of the park, we had a black bear run across the road in front of us. Outside of the park, be aware, especially dusk and dawn. Those are the times that you're really going to see the wildlife out and about. And, if you're driving at night,
be really careful.
Yeah, be real careful. You definitely don't want to speed because the last thing you want to do is hurt or kill wildlife in the park.
Yeah. Tip number 8, have a backup plan for other activities and things to do. This area of Montana has lots and lots of things to do outside of Glacier. The park gets really busy. So if you come in that crowded time, like 9 to 3, you're going to be, with all the crowds. So it might get too busy or the parking may be full. So you might need to come up with a backup plan. There's lots to do around Glacier to get outdoors and see the beauty of the mountains outside of the park. Within 30 minutes to an hour, you have access to Flathead Lake and Whitefish Lake, which has great water activities and just enjoying being outdoors, especially if you like the water. The Whitefish area also has great shops and restaurants, as well as hiking and just beautiful sights.
One other thing we enjoyed doing while we were near Glacier, and this is outside the park, was renting a UTV. So we went for a ride during the day. We rented one for the whole day. I think it was an 8-hour deal. And we took that out. We had a lot of fun. Be careful on the roads. Montana's roads are a little different. Their UTV road system is a little different, and it can be tricky. You might get lost, and you may run into people who don't want you there. So just be careful when you do that. Depending on when you're there too, they have a lot of festivals around. That week of July 4th, we actually ran into a festival that was happening in Whitefish. It was an arts type festival. Food, arts, music.
Yeah, beautiful photography. Enjoy lots of arts things there too as well. So
so it was a neat little place just to take a little visit outside of the park. So there are things to do if it's raining, and it cancels out some of your outdoor activities. Just be prepared. Do a little research. That's something that is easy to do with all the online resources out there today. All right, friends, there you have it. You've got our tips and our tricks. You can always shoot us a comment, give us a question if you want to know something. We've been to Glacier a couple of times now. We're planning our 2024 visit.
Already.
For the next time. So we want to make sure we get into the places we want to go to. We want to make sure that we're able to book RV parks and those kinds of things. So you do have to plan ahead. Just make sure you plan in advance. That's probably our biggest tip, because you don't want to be those people who can't get into the park and you've spent all this money going there and you never get to see it. It's really sad, but it happens today because of the reservation system. Pack appropriately. Make sure you get an early start wherever you're going in the park. That's a big recommendation. Take a hike, take a scenic drive. Watch out for the wildlife. Check them out. Take a great camera with you. Our iPhones now, it's amazing what your phones can do, compared to DSLRs from years ago.
A lot easier to, whatever's with you is the best one to have. Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, just enjoy your time there in that national park. So we hope you guys have an amazing time exploring Glacier when you get there, okay? And don't wait. Do it soon as you can, okay? If you wait until one day, you're never going to go. That's one of the things that we've done as we've gotten an RV and we've started traveling these last few years. We really just want to make things happen. You know, we want to take our kids while they're at a certain age to go and see things. And that's just one of the benefits of traveling and the learning that you do and all the people, the culture that you encounter. It's all awesome. So we appreciate you guys watching. You know, leave us a comment, leave us some questions below. Leave us a thumbs up. Yeah, that's always helpful. And we'll see you guys next time out on the Mewve.